Welcome, astrology lovers. It is so great to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we are here for a very, very exciting event, a very exciting panel. We are featuring Meru Matu, David Cochran, and then the co-host of the upcoming summit that we are featuring at the end of September, Chris Kaplan. And today, we're going to be talking about the event that's coming up and why David and Meru feel it is so important for us to be bridging this gap at this time in human history between astrology, spirituality, and science and consciousness, and really bringing this conversation to a really, so it sounds very big and broad, but really how that helps you in your life and how it helps the planet for us to really tie these things together. So we will be going there in just a second. Before we do, I wanted to introduce everybody a little bit more officially. David Cochran is an astrologer, mystic, information systems guru, and data scientist. Meru is the owner of Sunsoul Astrology, Sunsoul TV, and Pimp My Matrix. And Chris Kaplan is a member of the Astrology Hub A team and co-host of the summit. And so I'm going to go into a little bit more depth here on each of them. So David was a full-time professional astrologer from 1972 to 1981. He interviewed and consulted over 10,000 people, which really gives David a unique perspective that we can all benefit from. David has developed a system of astrology which has evolved since then into what is known as vibrational astrology. David is a popular speaker at international astrology conferences. He wrote 2 books, is past president of the International Society for Astrological Research, the 2018 winner of the prestigious Regulus Award for Discovery, Innovation, and Research. He's co-founder of the Avalon School of Astrology and the lead programmer for 2 of the leading astrology software companies, Cosmic Patterns and Matrix Software. David has a master's degree in research and evaluation methodology, and he works with academics, business people, and professionals around the world on developing astrological products and services and research projects. I clicked on the screen too quick and it was like, projects and practices, which one is it? David, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. You've been an integral part of this event, and our Astrology Hub community loves you, and it's really great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I am so thrilled to be here. I'm ready to burst here with excitement.
Fantastic. All right. And Meru Matu is a quantum astrologer who practices starseed DNA lineage and has created a unique brand and fringe niche within the astrology community. Meru takes quantum physics and blends it with Western equal house astrology to interpret the chart and identifies your starseed DNA locations based off fixed stars. And I've actually had a starseed reading with Meru, which was so amazing, so illuminating. And really, you know, we have our readings based on our natal chart, and it just brought it to this other level of where my soul has experienced and has come from. And it's really stuck with me, Meru. Thank you so much for all of that insight. Meru is the owner and creator of Sunsoul Astrology on YouTube, Sunsoul TV, and a popular line of astrology-based clothing called Pimp My Matrix. She is dedicated to assisting the global consciousness in the awakening to higher self-awareness and teaches daily applications to realize your full potential. Meru is a former Billboard Top 200 chart recording artist and 5-star resort spa esthetician who is here now sharing her personal story of incarnating from Sirius B into the body of a 23-year-old woman who passed on. She's here to expand our perceptions of what is possible within the quantum universe and to teach how to free yourself from the false matrix illusion. And Meru is another person. I came across her work on YouTube. Actually, one of the members of our community, Ellen, had recommended that I look into your work, and I did, and was like, whoa, just totally blown away. You're really having a conversation at an entirely different level, and we've featured you on Astrology Hub TV, and the community just resonates so deeply, so thank you so much for being here as well.
Thank you. Super excited to be here. Super excited to share. This is definitely a groundbreaking event that I'm so happy to be a part of.
All right. Okay. And Chris Kaplan is a writer and artist with a background in anthropology. He has been studying and practicing shamanism and astrology for over a decade. He has trained at the Nightlight Astrology School and is co-founder of the Transmissions Project, an aleatoric music and art initiative based on the chromatic scale and the zodiac cycles. He was a contributing writer for Reality Sandwich and co-directed Evolver's online learning program along with the new media production company Syncast. Chris is the co-host of the Astrology Hub's upcoming virtual summit, Astrology Summit 3.0, Raising Consciousness and Deepening Your Spiritual Path. Chris is a godsend. I'm realizing that the three of you are so musical. I mean, all
That's right.
have that in your background. And I love the conversation of how astrology and music go together, which is really a fascinating topic as well. So,
absolutely.
Exactly. Chris, thank you so much for being here. All of you are really going to get a chance to get to know Chris better. He is, we kind of like split up the interviews for this event. So there's 23 astrologers and scientists and spiritual leaders who will be featured. And Chris is doing a nice handful of those interviews as well. So you'll get to experience him in many different capacities.
Thank you, Amanda. It's so great to be here, especially with David and Meru. As you mentioned, these two topics are very dear to me. So it's a complete honor. Thank you.
All right. So for those of you interested in joining this event that we're talking about today, it is a free event. And like I said, we're featuring 23 astrologers, scientists, and spiritual leaders. Meru and David are 2 of the 23. And we wanted to have this opportunity to give you a taste for what's happening inside of this event. So you can reserve your spot. We're going to put the link in the chat and also in the description above the video if you're on Facebook. So check it out. It is available for registration now. And when you register, you'll get access to David Cochran's free bonus gift. So this is just a gift for joining the event. And it is a 90-minute video that he and I did on the spiritual essence of the 12 zodiac signs. So really the true essence, not the personality, but the depth of the signs and what they're really here to do. What is their spiritual calling? So check that out. When you register, you'll get instant access to that. So we would love for you to join us. All right, it's going to feature 23 talks from all of the different people that we're featuring. It's also going to include a live Q&A panel. So as you're watching the talks, if you have questions for the experts, you'll be able to actually ask them live in the Q&A panel every day, starting from September 23rd to September 29th. All right, so that's all coming. I wanted to start with David and Meru and just ask you, and Meru, maybe we'll start with you. Why are you so excited about being one of the panelists for this event? Why did you say yes? Your resounding yes is what we received from you, but why did you say yes?
Well, Astrology Hub is an amazing platform in its own right, so it's always a privilege and an honor to be invited to work with you in any sort of way. But to then do the summit, which I know has a lot to do with your beginnings, and we're in the information age and connecting through technology. So we can join and collaborate and expand it to places that would normally not receive this information, to people who would not normally receive it. So as you mentioned in my bio, I am on the fringe of astrology blended with quantum physics, and something very unique that does require kind of a more open mind. And it's just, the reach is so beautiful and the platform is so beautiful. Everybody is so supportive. So it's a really great representation of true community, in my personal opinion. And it's not just astrology. Like, that's so amazing that you're having spiritualists and scientists to really show how everything is interconnected. And that's the whole basis in which I personally stand upon. So I really commend you. And again, thank you for the opportunity.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Meru. And David, what made you so excited about being a part of this event?
I am excited because I've been waiting for this for a long time. I believe that astrology is now at the beginning of a major revolution, and we need young people with bright, fresh ideas to move us forward. So Meru just said she's on the fringe. Well, you can be on a fringe and ready to fall off the earth. You're on a fringe that's not going anywhere, or you might be on a fringe that's leading to the next level. I am completely convinced she's on the fringe leading to the next level. because we've done the research. We've got the data. We have 85,000 charts in our database. This is real stuff. I mean, it's inspiring. It's spiritually uplifting. You realize we really are all connected. You know, all the stuff you've been reading in the New Age books is really true. You feel it, you experience it, and it works. So the practical, the useful, the realistic, the tangible, the mystical, the awakening, it's all one. And let me just say one more thing about this. You know, we know from studying the big world, Einstein discovered with relativity, that it's magical. Like time is not really separate from space, and there's all these mystical things. And then you go down to the tiny world, and this is something Meru has done a lot of study of. It's crazy, wonderfully mystical, revelatory. Well, what about where we are in the middle? We don't live at the quantum tiny level. We don't live at the size of relativity. Is it magical here too? Oh yeah, it's magical. And this is why I'm so excited about what's happening in astrology, because we're filling in the gap, that we live in a mystical, awesome universe where everything is intricately connected, and we're figuring it out. And Astrology Hub is leading the way. And so I've been thinking for many years that, you know, I bet some young people are going to come along and they're going to get things hopping. You know, they're going to see, they're not going to be stuck in the old way like the other old timers like me. And sure enough, Astrology Hub comes along with a fantastic group leading the way to something I'm convinced is real, and it's really the way of the future. So
thank you so much, David. And you know, one of the really cool things about this event is that each speaker will have this, you know, quantum conversation about consciousness and astrology and spirituality and all of it. And then they leave us with practical like applications. Like, what could you do today to start embodying some of these? What are practices that you can do? What are, you know, exercises you can do? And Meru, I love the one that you give, which I'm not gonna tell them yet. But, you know, just so that you can actually start to work with this information and use it to have a more fulfilling, purposeful life, you know? And I think sometimes when we keep it completely philosophical, it's like, that's great and really interesting. And like, what do I do with this? So I love that about all the speakers, that they really bring it to earth. And David, when you're talking about magic, I just have to share this. I was just at my daughter, Sophia. She's going to be 7 on Sunday. And they just had a little birthday celebration for her in her 1st grade. And it was all magic. I mean, it was just every single thing that was happening in this room was magical. And I looked at these kids with these bright eyes and these faces so alive, and it's so real to them. And I think so many of us, we also experienced that as children, and it wasn't supported, it wasn't cultivated, the world didn't reinforce it. And that is actually one of the things that's the most exciting to see happen in our community, is to see so many people reconnect with that magic and reconnect with it in a way that they can really believe in and trust, you know, and like you said, David, they feel it. They've always probably felt it, even if it was humming in the background. But to have the science confirm it, to have, you know, these amazing bright minds like you two and all the research that's been done confirm it, it's just like, yeah, let's go. Right. Like, game on, let's do this. Awesome.
Right. Can I add one little thing to that? Yeah. You know, what we're doing in this new world of information is it's all synergistic. You know, it used to be the old way in astrology. People were kind of had a love-hate relationship with science. Like, astrology's built on science. We don't know where the planets are without it. But then as soon as you start doing research, they would say, oh, that's too mechanistic or something. And so now what we're entering into with Astrology Hub Summit 3 and other, you know, wonderful activities going on, is that all of this is synergistic. You take the nerds who do the programming or figure out the mathematical formulas, and the mystics with their intuition, and the therapists with their insight into humanity, and the people who just have an understanding of what life is all about, spiritual teachers, and they're all saying the same thing. different lenses into the same truth. And they're all beautiful. We're all beautiful. The nerds are beautiful. The artists are beautiful. The psychologists are beautiful. We're not fighting each other. And it used to be, the scientists have to be skeptical of anything mystical and vice versa. No, that's all gone. That's all gone. So, this is why I'm so excited about this Summit 3.0, because it's the way of the future, where you get practical information, you apply it, you get inspired, you just, wow. Life is so much more awesome and amazing than I thought.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are just joining in, if you would like to join the Astrology Summit 3.0, Raising Consciousness and Deepening Your Spiritual Path, it is a free online event happening September 23rd to the 29th. You can reserve your spot now. And when you do, you're also going to get a free gift from David Cochran that is all explaining all 12 zodiac signs and the spiritual essence of the zodiac signs. So check it out. It's amazing. We hope that you'll join us. And right now we're having a conversation about the event, so that for those of you who want to get like a sneak peek into what's going to be actually happening, you will get a lot of cool insights here. All right. Chris Kaplan is the co-host of this event. Chris, you have talked to, I don't know, probably 10 to 12 of the people that are part of the summit. Is that about right?
That is, yeah.
And tell us what's been the coolest insight or the most inspirational perspective or thought that's come through for you in talking to all these different experts.
Yeah, well, just to echo what David was saying, that astrology is pure magic. Life is pure magic, and it is that reflection that we are a part of this living cosmos. And this is what we brought together with this summit. We have this diverse spectrum of perspective, and it unifies, centered around astrology as being this beautiful bridge from the mystical traditions, from the esoteric traditions, the wisdom of the ancients or indigenous wisdom keepers, and how we are in our modern world, where the rationalistic scientific modality, astrology is creating that bridge, and we're realizing that literally everything is the same. We are just remembering and translating these concepts into a richer context for our modern understanding. So some of it, like we did, Carolyn Elliott's presentation interview that we did was so much fun, because she's speaking for my generation, was Saturn and Scorpio generation. We got into, her talk title was Saturn and the Existential Kink, and it was absolutely fun. And Tasha de Santos, another beautiful talk that we had about unifying the sacred masculine and sacred feminine, how we need to honor both to heal one and the other. And this is where we are in our current climate. Like, we need that unity. We need to bridge those gaps, and we need to heal from ourselves and outward. And this is so much that's been resonating throughout all the talks, and it's coming from all these different angles, and it's been so rich and empowering and so much fun to be a part of.
Absolutely. I agree. I know this week I got to talk to Nadia Shah. She was talking about astrology and synchronicity in your spiritual path. I talked to Sahara Rose, who was bringing in Ayurveda and how to work with Ayurveda and astrology, and Teal Swan on that talk just went so many places. I can't wait for you guys to listen to that.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. One of the things we talked about was how astrology really helps us do our shadow work, and what transits are really perfect for that type of deep dive into that element of ourselves. So it's been really amazing to be a part of already, and it hasn't even started yet. Okay, so speaking of talk titles and subjects, let's talk to David and Meru about your specific talk, what you actually are going to be presenting on. So David, let's start with you.
Okay, well, there's the two things. One is the spiritual essence of zodiac signs, which is part of the bonus gift, and also vibrational astrology. And me talking about vibrational astrology is like grandma talking about her grandchildren. Do you have a few days? I can talk about this forever. I'm so excited about vibrational astrology because it works. It really brings astrology to a new level of clarity. And this is what should be happening in the information age. With the software tools, with the information available to us. Imagine just 30 years ago, calculating charts manually, taking hours, impossible to get information. Now it's all there. People are using this. Thousands and thousands of people around the world. I get emails from people in China, Japan, India, who now can access all this information, seeing thousands of clients. And so we're making breakthroughs. And so I'm emphasizing that because it's a world effort. And sometimes when you make breakthroughs, people are a little resistant. Anything that's new is going to shake things up a little bit. Like Meru said, we're on the fringe here, right? But don't be afraid. Join this fringe. It's really growing into, a tsunami, because it's becoming viral. Yeah, I've made over 300 videos on all kinds of details, like what's in the charts of rock musicians, what's in the charts of the greatest athletes, what's in the charts of people who have ADHD, and you see the consistent vibrational systems over and over again. It's called progress, my friends. I mean, we're in an information age. We're going to move forward. People are going to make discoveries. This is the most exciting time I could imagine in the history of astrology, because we're figuring it out. And part of that figuring it out is vibrational astrology. People are making other discoveries with other tool sets, and they all work. They're all important. It's just this is the one I happen to be using. We're doing research now on accidents, on so many things. It's bloody stuff actually works. We really are tied to the cosmos. I mean, how cool is that? So I will be giving the ABCs of what vibrational astrology is, how you can learn more, how you can experience it. And those interpretations of the zodiac signs are part of the vibrational astrology, where the signs are vibrational. So that's what I'm going to be presenting.
Fantastic. And I got to do your interview. You guys are going to love it. You're just such a gem. And I mean, to have someone like you who has done so much research and is so committed to that aspect, it's entirely necessary. I remember when I first got into astrology, which wasn't that long ago, I went, God, is there any research on this? Like, can we prove it anyway? Like, it seems like it would be something that would be quantifiable. And the answer is yes. You have been doing it for many, many decades at this point. So thank you for everything that you do. Meru, can you tell us a little bit about your talk and what you're going to be covering?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about superconsciousness and going quantum within a simulation. And it's really reflective of what David's talking about. It's all vibrational, it's all frequency, and it's all resonance, everything that we're experiencing, from emotions to what we see. And I talk a lot about what's called the perception generating filter, PGF for short. And it's about taking your power and understanding that there was intentions behind this experience that we're living here. If you could think about you yourself in your chart, it's almost like you chose attributes. You chose to level up your intellect with Mercury and, deepen your soul with Pluto, those sort of things. But from that perception, as David also mentioned, it gives you a platform for how you may be interpreting the world. And there's these connections. So we understand that nothing is by accident, nothing is outside of your power. So as we evolve through time and space and with our consciousness, we are learning that we do have free will and we are co-creators. So we take our power and we go quantum within this simulation, as quantum physics is really proving to us every day that this is holographic in nature. So to manifest and to create the life that you really want to create is much more accessible than we thought that it was. We could look at the planet Saturn and it being so physical and dimensional and limitations and boundaries. But what if the truth is that Saturn is about accessing freedom, that it's just representing the rule set to this matrix hologram, and that if you're operating within this rule set, which the beauty of it is integrity and discipline and wisdom to respond to this life and to embrace it, so then you actually do wind up going quantum and into a state of freedom because we understand that there's quantum fluctuation on this really deep, small level that David earlier was talking about. And when he was mentioning, there's that really small and then there's the really big, the planets outside. Well, that's what we now know, is that nothing exists outside. So these planets, these transits, these experiences that are seen so far away are actually internal. And this physical body, is that separating point between those two places, the macro and the micro. And oh my gosh, if that doesn't give you the realization of how powerful you are, like, what can't you do past that point? But it has to integrate. It has to become a part of your cellular makeup versus just what I refer to as an icon on your desktop of self. You have to download it. And then you start to operate from it, and life starts to reflect your belief. And then you realize, yes, my perceptions are generating my reality. And then you're just absolutely in this state of quantum fluctuation, of allowance, and just being in the presence. So then, yes, astrology and science and spirituality, because it's a daily practice. None of this is just information that's meant to be, spoken and heard, and then that's it. These are practices. These are practical applications to life and living the best life ever. So that's what you do. You go quantum in the simulation.
Fantastic. Can't wait to share her talk with all of you as well. It's so exciting. One thing, we have a couple questions that have come in, and I want to encourage all of you. David and Meru are here, so if you have questions for them, please feel free to ask. If you have questions about the event, please feel free to ask. We have had a couple questions come in. Is Astrology Summit 3.0 free? Yes, it is. You will have 48 hours of free access to every single talk. So yes, you will be able to access all the information for free. So just like put aside an hour or two a day on that week, maybe replace your favorite TV show, or if you fall asleep watching movies or whatever it is, you can just plan to be watching these things at that time. And there's a question, will there be a replay available for Astrology Summit 3.0 if I can't make a live session? And the answer to that is every talk is available for 48 hours for free. So you'll have that time frame. So if there's someone you really want to see, and we do have the schedule already available. So if there's someone on the, in the list of experts that you were really, really, really excited about seeing, like Meru and David maybe, you'll be able to note when their talk is going to be released, and then you'll have 48 hours for free access. So whenever within that period that you can make the time to watch, you'll be able to do that. If you are someone who knows that they want to own the content and just have it in your personal library and watch it whenever you want, then there is an option to upgrade, and the upgrade package is $97 during the event. So you'll get more information about that after you register. But again, if you just know that you're going to be tuning in and catching the ones that you love, then you can do that entirely for free for that entire week. All right. Josiana said that you just gave her the chills, Meru. That's fantastic. And, yes. And okay, so I wanted to ask, I wanted to say too, Nadia Smirnova Moreau is a nuclear physicist and astrologer who's also on the panel. She literally takes like what David and Meru are talking about in terms of quantum physics and how it's confirming everything that we, like how it explains astrology in a very like concrete way. She has like an entire slideshow presentation that really brings it all to life. It will be a life-changing presentation for any of you who are like, God, I want the science behind this. I want more of the validation from that scientific perspective. I need that in order to like fully be all in on this. You will be blown away. So I can't wait to share her talk with you as well. Okay, so, and Sherry says, Meru always gives me the chills. That's so awesome. I know she does that a lot for me too. Okay, so I'd love to ask now for all three of you actually, why do you feel like this particular conversation is so important at this particular moment in time? Maybe I'll start with you, Chris.
Yeah. But God, it's because we're at a convergence point where ancient wisdom and our scientific dialogue is converging, which is absolutely beautiful. When we're talking about quantum vibration, we're talking about the resonance. Meru was talking about everything is in vibration. It's in resonance. It's one of like the ancient hermetic points of view from the Western esoteric traditions, where everything is in motion, everything is in cause and effect, and we are at divine play with that. We're completely in this cosmic. It's joyous. The cosmic joke is everywhere. Sophia is everywhere. Whatever word or language you want to use to describe it, and it's this complete reflection of the self and your world. So it's such an exciting time to be a part of as well. And David was mentioning we are in the information age. We're able to connect globally, instantaneously, knowledge share. And we are, as Meru was mentioning, learning that we are in this holographic reality where we are being encouraged and validated on a scientific level as well, since it's our most recent language system of our dominant perception filter for our culture. So having that validation that, oh, our consciousness does matter, it is at play, then it is a reflection that the whole universe is consciousness. And then we are in this intimate dialogue with it. And it's, I don't know, you have to think that's amazing. And it is pure magic.
Absolutely. All right, Chris, thank you. How about you, David? Why now?
Why now? Because two reasons. One is the pieces of the puzzle are now coming together. If we had this conversation 10 years ago, it's mostly philosophy, speculation, just broad brushstroke images. You know, we could talk about relativity and quantum theory, but we couldn't connect the dots specifically with astrology. Now we can. We have the research. We have studies showing what happens when you're in an accident, or as I said, the rock musicians, etc. We have the data, and all. So that's part of it. And we have Zoom, and we have Facebook, and all these things really were quite slow. They're still slow in some parts of say the United States and so on, but that infrastructure is now available. So, you know, we have the answers. We have some of the answers. We have the tools. It's only really just in the last few years that I think everything has really come together for this to happen. And what's one of the things that's so amazingly beautiful about the way you, Amanda, and Chris, and the rest of the Astrology Hub team, you know, what you're doing is you're bringing different voices. I noticed when you started talking about Nadia Moreau, the physicist and astrologer, I noticed, Meru, you lit up too. I saw you smiling as I was smiling, because we love each other and we need these different voices. And we, you know, Nadia has her training and experience. I have my training and experience. Meru has her training and experience. And I get the chills when I listen to Meru as well, because she's very different from me. We're saying the same thing, but it's a different experience. She's more like a mediumistic channel of the voice of, you know, and I'm kind of in there showing you how the car works. You know, I don't want to, you know, put us too much in a box, because we fill a lot of different boxes, right? But, you know, overall we have different emphasis. And then wait till you hear Nadia Moreau and all the other speakers. This is just, so not only is it now possible, but you've brought together different lenses, different voices. And people may be surprised how much we love and appreciate each other, even though we're coming from different avenues, because that's what we need. Not only is that not a problem, that's what you have to have. Different lifestyles, different experiences, different perceptions. Then you see the elephant, right? You can't just see it from one point of view. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, David. And I actually love watching your face when Meru talks. It's so great.
I love her. She's great.
I know, she is great. Oh, it's so priceless. Okay, Meru, why now? Why do you feel it's so important for us to be having this particular dialogue right now?
Well, thank you so much. My cheeks are starting to hurt. I feel like a little kid going to Disneyland. But you know what? Somebody actually mentioned it in the chat here in Zoom. It really is Uranus and Taurus time, a cycle of Uranus whenever our power was taken from us. If you look back at the last time Uranus was in Taurus, there were so many powerful spiritualists and speakers, Napoleon Hill, and pretty much all the information that The Secret is based off of, and the Master Key system. And all of that was pretty much just swept under the rug by war. And almost like this rise of consciousness had an opportunity, but it was frightening. It takes a lot of courage to be responsible for yourself in this gigantic world of possibilities, right? If you could create anything, you have to have a level of integrity to create from, and that takes work. So the shadow work that's included in everything, that's a big deal. That's a really big process to go through. And now we're on the other side of that cycle. So now this is more exciting, taking your power, running with it, bringing this information to a place where no matter what happens, this is going to echo on. This is going to make the change that is going to actually make the manifestation real here on this planet. And it's such an honor, because I came onto YouTube about 1.5 years ago with my channel, and I'm very much that type of person that I don't live in fear. I don't really weigh like all of the negatives that can go on. I leap. And I've heard a lot of conversations about the foundational astrologers versus the new school astrologers. And it's almost like not competitive, but a little bit of the resistance that David was talking about. So to come to this place where you and I, David, are on the same platform, and we appreciate each other so much, and we are bringing, just different versions of the same thing, because we're way showers, and we're here to show the way and inspire. Each of these vibrational frequencies that we produce, it connects with certain groups and illuminates them to connect with certain groups, and it's just this accumulation of momentum going out into the world. And that's mind-blowing to me. That's such a ridiculous honor to be here and to be in this stage now, because if we understand that we really are all one frequency, all one energy source, just fractaled, right? Then why would we compete, or why would we block? Because we're just experiencing ourselves, watching ourselves grow. Like me and David, Amanda, Chris, everybody, we're just examples of each other in different dimensions and different experiences, different timelines. It just is so exciting. And then to get to talk about this and to share it, and oh my gosh, I'm about to freak out and have too much fun. So
I love that you bring that up, Meru. I mean, it is actually one of the biggest pleasures of my role at Astrology Hub, is to see how the audience resonates with different vibrations. And that is one of the biggest gifts, is to be able to feature all these different people that are bringing a different lens and a different perspective and a different energy to this pretty much the same conversation, but how much one has an impact on someone and this one has an impact on that person, and that is so beautiful to witness. And also the competition piece, I know, like for myself, whenever I get enthusiastic about something where it's like, God, this feels so true and it resonates, it's so deep. And then when I go deeper in and I find that there's infighting, so like this happens like in the health arena is too. It happens in every arena, right? Everyone. But I get so disappointed because like, oh shoot, okay. Like, can we agree on some things though? Can we agree on some like fundamental truths beneath all of it? Because we can fight about the details and the techniques and the tools and blah, blah, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So I think, that's just people like you who can just rise above that entire thing and just be having this conversation are such a gift to all of us, and especially those who are new to astrology. Because the thing is, when there's the infighting and it's just like, oh, shoot, okay. Then I feel like I have to pick camps, and I feel like I have to go one way or another. It's like, no. You don't, actually. There's a place for all of it, and there's a place for all the voices. So thank you for being such an amazing reflection of that for us. All right. Josie Ann says, awesome, David, you are all stars shining your light. And love your words, David. Thank you, from Silly. Okay, so I just wanted to say one more time, and then I actually have one more question that is like kind of off topic, but I'd love to put it out there because of what we discovered in the very beginning when we were doing the bios. But just to all of you out there one more time, please join us for the event. It's Astrology Summit 3.0, Raising Consciousness and Deepening Your Spiritual Path. We're featuring 23 astrologers, scientists, spiritual teachers. The conversations are activating and like the way that I think about this event for all of you out there is it will be a catalyst for you, a catalyst in your life so that you can have the confidence that you need, maybe you already have the confidence you need, but have more confidence, more empowerment to just live your divine blueprint in its fullest expression. So I just think you're going to love it. Invite your friends. It's free. You'll get an amazing free gift when you join. And then all the speakers are also providing bonus gifts. So all 23 speakers will be providing bonus gifts that you'll get to download during their free period. If you do purchase the upgrade package, you'll have lifetime access to the bonus gifts as well. But if you're just going to tune in during that week, you'll still have access to the bonus gifts. So it's really just like this cornucopia of gifts that will be showered upon you for that whole week. And I can already feel the momentum, like you said. I think it was you, Meru, saying momentum. I can feel this momentum, this groundswell happening. And I hope that all of you will be a part of it with us. Okay, so my final question just has to do with music, because you're all musicians and you're all astrologers. So what do you see as the link, and what is this music of the spheres, and how does it play out in our lives? Who wants to start? I'm just going to open it up.
I'll jump in.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, for me, music is a channeling session. It really is, especially if you're a songwriter, and connecting to the multiple dimensions, the space in between the dimensions. Those are the frequencies. So for me personally, it's the same message, but it's coming through in a different application and a different filter, which is literally to just say that if you're in tune with the frequency of the universe, then you're going to receive the messages no matter what. So all roads essentially lead home. And the rhythm of the universe is your flow. It's how you're interacting moment by moment. So it's such a beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful for my time in music and how it's kind of crossed over into this platform. Everything is, if you follow your guidance system, you're going to eventually come to that aha moment. And it doesn't matter, right? Also I was an esthetician, but I counted in my mind every single time I worked on a client. It was repetitions and rhythms of movement through my fingers, and I communicated through touch and without verbal. Right? But yet music is also verbal and nonverbal. It's an expression of rhythm. And then to tap into astrology, it's the same thing. And it's mind-blowing. So I'm very grateful, but it is really beautiful to see all of us here have pretty much like the quantum vibrational filter and have the application of it to astrology. That's not by coincidence whatsoever. So yeah, good connection there.
I know. And Leo King actually also is a house DJ and does so much with his spiritual dance music. So that's another astrologer on the panel who will be talking about astrology and past lives and how to learn from your past lifetimes so that you can live the fullest lifetime now. So, all right, who wants to talk?
I guess I'll jump in here. Yeah, I'm probably a bridge between Meru and David. I'm actually on the artist side of the music sphere, especially with this project. I was very fortunate enough to work with some amazing musicians, do live art with them. And this is how my interest with blending with quantum physics and everything being a frequency and a vibration and movement, sound propelling existence, I would channel that into my artwork and make it this very organic, flowing sort of style. And then when I was my interest with astrology and blending that music of the spheres, it completely inspired me. I was able to collaborate and then test it out. I would sort of see musicians I would be collaborating with, just tell them to, riff on a certain key and pick a certain key, and pretty much every time it would correlate to that chromatic scale correlation with the zodiacal cycle in this amazing way. And then what we would do in the aleatoric method is that is the filter for this whole improvisation. And then I would focus on more the whole tones and the corresponding to the chakras, which correspond to different colors. And that would be like this divine play of translating sound into light and then light into sound, because it's just a different frequency and vibration. And it's so much fun. It's up to me.
Wow, that is so cool. I can't wait to see that someday, Chris.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to show you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I think music was my first step in vibrational astrology, actually. The only way I can explain this would be past lives. It just seems like from a very, very young age, I was trying to understand vibration. So I remember asking my dad when I must have been 8 or 9 years old, why do those notes sound good? And then I started studying music theory, and I would take like Christmas songs and I would say, well, this is just a scale going down. Why is it scale? Why does it go that far? What about the sounds in between? Why does this sound good? Why do these 3 chords fit together? I was so confused and amazed, and I was obsessed with this even as a child. And then when I got older and I found out it's called Pythagorean, and that Johannes Kepler was trying to figure out what the music of the spheres was, going all the way back to Pythagoras. And then I found out, oh my gosh, I'm part of a lineage. How do you like that? All my friends just thought, that's David, he's crazy. But I found out I was part of a lineage that I hadn't been brought into. So for me, the music, we're all different. And a lot of people just play music and they play it and they're great at it. I'm so cognitive. I was analyzing, trying to understand more than to be able to perform well. And then when I found the astrology and I went into mystical meditations where I felt swirling, intricate tapestries flowing in and out of me and my breath stopping, and it was telling me the same thing. So whether I was having a mystical meditation experience, playing music, finding out I'm a Pythagorean, there's a name for me, and then discovering the details of it. So I feel like Meru said, we're all different examples of each other. There's frequencies. We're like mandalas that manifested. How can we become jealous of each other? We're just different expressions of the same frequencies, just like we're made of the same chemical elements. And I just feel that I'm part of that frequency of Pythagoras, Kepler, John, Addy, etc., Meru Matu, and Chris. We're all part of this. For me, it seems to have been the dominant thing that's pushed out everything else. So yeah, that music and the astrology, they all took me in the same direction. And I feel incredibly lucky because I was exposed to certain people, certain situations when I was young. I think there's some luck involved. If I didn't run into those people who explained certain things to me at certain points, I could have just gone nuts or something. But it just put it all together and showed me that this is what's going on in your life.
Mm. Amazing. I'd love to hear from the audience. How many of you are like playing around with these concepts of music and astrology? Even Gemini Brett, an astrologer that we feature a lot, who's going to be our next Inner Circle guide actually next month. He's constantly playing the saxophone and playing the music of the spheres for us. And it's just so beautiful to hear. So I bet there's a lot more people out there who are really bridging and bringing the sounds and the colors, like you said, Chris, into this dimension to be expressed. And that's really what this event is for us. I mean, for me, I'm like, God, this is heaven and earth. This is actually creating heaven on earth, and this is the conversation that we're having. And so I am so excited that this is going to be happening in just, 3 weeks from now. You are all invited to join us. Again, it's Astrology Summit. Hi, Stephanie. She just came in. That's great. One of our angels. Talk about heaven on earth. September 23rd to the 29th, we will be featuring 23 astrologers, spiritual teachers, scientists, having a very amazing, expansive, and yet grounded conversation about consciousness and your spiritual path, and how understanding it all can help you have a better life, a more fulfilled life, realize your interconnectivity, and not just realize it, but experience it and walk through life with that knowing. And when you walk through that life with that knowing, like David and Meru are saying, there's no need for competition. There's no need for jealousy. There's no need for any of these things, because we're all just a reflection of each other. So having that reinforced for us, though, remembering that together is so important. And that's what we'll be doing that entire week. We'll be remembering who we really are. We'll be remembering what we're here to do. And we'll be sharing it together in community. So you're all invited. There's going to be a live Q&A panel every day of the event. You'll be able to submit your questions and engage with the speakers. So please join us. And the link to join is in the chat and also in the description about this video. Anything that you guys want to leave the audience with before we close out? My amazing panel, this has been so much fun.
I love you. I love it. I love all of you. That's all I can say. This is just so exciting that, you know, built on a foundation of knowing who we are, where we came from, where we're going, and letting ourselves be and grow and develop with our talents is just so wonderful. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this.
Thank you for saying yes. It wouldn't be the same event without you, David. All right, anything else that we want to leave the audience with?
I just want to invite everybody to really take advantage of this opportunity, and also just thank you, Amanda, for being so gracious with this information, and your also time and dedication that it takes to bring all of this together and make it happen. And these connections are going to last a lifetime. This is inspiration that's just going to keep on going. So, I mean, I wouldn't be here without you, and I wouldn't know David now and Chris, and how many more people am I going to meet through this process? So I'm just so excited. So I would love to meet all of you out there. Please join in and definitely check out my conversation, David's conversation, as well as everybody. Like, literally show up for all 23, because that's groundbreaking. That's insanely awesome. So thank you so much.
All right. Well, I also have an incredible team behind me, the A-Team Angels. I could never, ever, ever do this alone. And so it's such a great collaborative effort, and everyone's so enthusiastic to be able to share. So anything you want to say, Chris?
I do. Yeah, I just want to encourage everyone to check it out too, because we just had such a wide breadth of experience and perspectives. We have the Western and tropical perspective, the Vedic perspective, the perspective from modern physics, and it's just this fun synergy and how to reconnect and go personally and live out this divine play. And it was just so much fun to be a part of. So thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Meru and David.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Check out the event. Mark your calendars. Join us. Make sure you put the live Q&A times on your calendar for that week of the 23rd. And we are so excited to share this with you. Thank you very much, Meru. Thank you very much, David and Chris. You are all amazing. And it's just such a gift to be able to share your wisdom with our incredible community. Thanks to all of you who showed up today. And thank you so much, as always, for making astrology a part of your life. We'll see you soon.